Welcome to InBox. I'm your host, John Guan. From new technology, art movement, and film societies, we will show you how fresh ideas can change the way people view the cities they live in. If you live in Los Angeles or San Francisco, you've surely noticed cars with pink mustache attached to their grills. It's not a new feature from Detroit or a fashion statement. It's Lyft, one of the new upstart ride-sharing companies that gave people a way to get around town. Aaron Katherine takes us for a ride.
As any city dweller can tell you, getting around town isn't always easy, and catching a cab can be downright tough.
They won't pick you up for like hours.
That's where companies like Sidecar and Lyft say they can help by bringing car owners and ride seekers together.
You just download the app, put in your credit card information so that any payment is kind of frictionless and easy to do.
Well, I love that you just push the button and then they send you a text with a photo of the driver, a photo of the car, and you know that it's always going to have that pink furry mustache on the grill.
It's modern ride sharing. Need a lift? Just press a button to request a driver, and one in the area will pick you up.
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
And while all the drivers we spoke with were friendly, they all preferred not to appear on camera.
These are just people that have spare time, that have been through our vetting system, have been through a series of background checks, driver's license checks. So they're safe drivers and they have time to spare.
And what about the cost?
But you pay whatever you want to pay. It's not like they don't force you to pay based on the mileage or anything.
Before you confirm the ride, we kind of give you an estimate of what a suggested amount would be based on it's a kind of algorithm we have that has been constructed from what people typically have been paying. But that's just a suggestion. At the end of the ride, when you get out of the car, you can pay whatever you want. So if you want to pay zero, it's kind of lame, but you could do it.
The concept seems pretty easy, but the cab industry says these services are steering the public in the wrong direction.
The state law defines rideshare, and rideshare has to be for a common work-related purpose. It can't be one person picking up another person and simply taking them where they want to go. It also can't be done for a profit.
Our stance on this is that this is ride sharing. People have been ride sharing for years. They do it all the time. 5,000 rides a day are given by the casual carpool service, and all we are doing is building a platform that allows people to do this more efficiently.
Essentially, the taxi industry charges that rideshare companies have an unfair advantage because they're not held to the same standards, and some transit authorities have agreed.
Back last year, we received a cease and desist from the state of California, followed by a fine. But we've worked together with them following that, demonstrated all the safety measures that I talked about, background check, DMV record check, the insurance piece, and so we have a working agreement with them now.
But the insurance industry itself says that these vehicles are not insured when they're picking up people for these companies.
While the taxi companies question the driver's personal insurance validity, Lyft and Sidecar each have excessive liability insurance for $1 million. And as rideshares get the green light to run in more cities and states, consumers have more app-based choices.
And that brings us to our non-scientific comparison of Lyft, Sidecar, and Flywheel, an app for cabs. Each of us is using one of the apps. Producer Sean, Marisa, and I are going to race. Ready, set, request.
Starting at San Francisco's Ferry Building, we're off to Kezar Pavilion in Golden Gate Park, a 4.6-mile ride. In less than 10 minutes, Marisa is the first to be picked up.
Next, it's my turn with Lyft. Sean is eventually picked up by Sidecar. Both the cab and Lyft drivers stick to city streets, while Sidecars takes to the freeway, which tacks on another mile.
On this particular day, Marisa arrived first with the Flywheel app, I arrived second with Lyft, and Sean arrived third with Sidecar.
Time-wise, the taxi took it, while the rideshare saved a few dollars. So with all these apps at your fingertips, there's no reason to be flailing your arms for a ride in the city again.
Aaron, it looks like you had a little fun out there conducting your experiment.
Yeah, we actually had a blast racing. And I want to say that results will vary, but we were pretty pleased with how the apps worked.
Okay, so what's the recommendation do you have now?
Well, I think it's pretty important to have several apps installed. That way you can see which platform has the most cars and closest drivers when you need a ride.
Okay, I will start download the app after the show. Thank you, Aaron. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. An art movement is taking Oakland by storm. The city's reputation is changing before our eyes. Through art walks, gallery openings, and First Fridays, Stephanie Chu went to the source to see what the buzz is all about.
It's fun. It's like community outreach, you know, but through the art.
Community outreach.
You'll really be like super shocked, like a culture shock all over.
Culture?
There's a lot of really creative people here.
Creative people? Oakland has an asset. It's artists, and their vision is painting a new picture.
It is actually pretty cool because we do have like a huge art movement that goes on that nobody knows.
It's called Art Murmur. It began with just a few galleries and the idea that art could bring a community together.
23rd Street had a bunch of galleries, but ultimately at that time nobody was visiting Oakland from San Francisco or from Berkeley, and the art scenes were basically segregated by districts.
With little money and almost no audience, it was these galleries that started the Art Murmur buzz.
We were putting funds together to share like basically postcard postage. And then that's how that created kind of like an event-based night where galleries are open a little later than usual hours and kind of just celebrating together with the rest of America.
It's like a little showcase every First Friday.
And what began as just a one-block showcase has developed into a 4-street-long festival. An event that started with a few hundred people now attracts several thousands.
This neighborhood, the art is a big part of it.
Ron Scrivani saw this as an opportunity for his gallery, Warehouse 416.
We first moved in, we were the only people on the block. A few years after that, there were 5. Now there's more that are coming. The 2 ends of the street are open for development, and sooner than one would expect, they will be developed. And this whole street will be full of galleries and places to go.
But somewhere between the music, the food vendors, and the people are the Oakland artists.
This painting here is one of my most recent paintings.
Meet Artistic.
This will be part of a creative discourse project that I'm working on in Oakland, which will promote healthy communication.
Much of his work deals with Oakland communities.
People generally associate themselves with it through the relative images that I use, because they usually depict areas in Oakland, or sometimes the cartoon figures that I'll put in there have a humorous content or a humorous relationship, and people tend to see the funny side in the work, and then they build even a deeper relationship with the work.
He says his art is helping Oakland's reputation.
Painting, you see particular individuals with their hands reaching out to the next individual. And that was one of the main reasons why I chose to begin to communicate and using my art and my platform to put a Band-Aid on the situation, if you will. It probably won't be the only thing that will solve the problems, but at least I feel like I'm doing my part as an artist here in Oakland.
And then there's Jocelyn. She uses Oakland as a platform to give away art for free.
The point behind the Free Gallery is just an extension of the Free Utopian project.
She says not only does it free up space for artists, but it's a way for them to give back to their community.
A lot of places, a lot of charities don't accept artwork, and a lot of artists don't have money, so they can't give money. But this is a chance for their work to go to someone who can't normally afford art.
Around the corner is Dixon, also giving away art in Oakland.
Everything I make is really confused that dynamic of ownership and what it means to engage in the art world.
Engage, a word that seems to be commonly used when it comes to talking about art. And Pro Arts, a not-for-profit organization, says they have been engaging people in art for years, being the center point for art in Oakland.
We are a regional hub. We see ourselves as multifaceted.
A hub that helped jumpstart galleries like 416.
Pro Arts is the art center of Oakland. It's a nonprofit organization that brings together all these household artists.
Artists like Jocelyn and artistic. But whether it's nonprofits or events like Art Murmur and First Fridays, it's working. Artists are flocking to Oakland, and people are truly getting engaged.
And we have a constant flow all night long of people who are more interested in art and less interested in the party. They're more interested in seeing what's going on and seeing who's out here. They're shuffling through and they're looking at the art.
Now, because of art, there's a lot more culture being expressed. There's a lot more reason to come down here. There's restaurants and bars and shops that are opening up because the art scene made this neighborhood blossom.
It's a very positive expression of the people in Oakland wanting to make sure that something that's positive keeps happening.
It's a movement that's not going to stop. One that can only get bigger from here.
In this week's tech update, we'll bring you Vine, the latest mobile app that allows users to shoot, edit, and upload 6-second videos. Vine is Twitter of social content.
Vine video can capture breaking news. They oftentimes feature family pets, provide cooking tutorials and recipes, and showcase artist talent. Anyone can shoot their own movie in a matter of minutes. Take it from me.
That's fine for this week's tech update. Far from the red carpets of Hollywood, the 360 Film Collective is changing the way movies are made. The Bay Area is becoming an unlikely hub for film production that are receiving major acclaim. Aaron Katzenberg shows us behind the scenes.
The hills of Hollywood have always been the hometown of the movies, but now eyes are looking north to the Golden Gate to find a burgeoning film community whose films are winning some of the biggest awards a film can receive. Ben Zeitlin's Beasts of the Southern Wild is a mythical story about a 6-year-old living in virtual squalor, trying to cope with the end of the world.
Goes to Beast of the Southern Wild.
After winning the Special Grand Jury Prize at the preeminent Sundance Film Festival in 2012, Beasts of the Southern Wild won the Camera d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival and was awarded with 4 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director for Zeitlin. Ryan Coogler's Fruitvale centers around the final day of Oscar Grant, an Oakland resident who was shot and killed at the Fruitvale BART station by a BART police officer, and whose death was recorded on cell phone cameras. Fruitvale won both the Special Grand Jury Prize and Audience Award at the 2013 Sundance Film Festival.
And this goes back to my home, to the Bay Area.
Both Beasts of the Southern Wild and Fruitvale received funding from the San Francisco Film Society's Filmmaker 360 program. To date, the program has seen 7 films to completion and donated over $2 million to local filmmakers.
The link between the Renaissance in San Francisco filmmaking and the San Francisco Film Society is a very direct link. Like there's nothing ambiguous about it.
Content Films is a San Francisco-based production company comprised of independent film directors. Since the Film Society started investing in the local film economy, directors John Dilley, Eric Escobar, and Mark DeSena say they feel a change.
It's really been like night and day. Like I grew up as a filmmaker since the 90s in the Bay Area, and there was never a climate like there is now for specifically narrative feature fiction films.
Even 10 years ago, it was kind of, you kind of had to hide the fact that you were a narrative filmmaker. Mm-hmm. It was sort of the dirty secret of sort of people would ask, like, you know, what do I do and what kind of films do you make? And be like, well, experimental films. I mean, I have made a couple narrative shorts, but really I'm truly experimental. And nowadays it feels like, you know, we don't have to hide ourselves. Yeah, don't have to hide the type of movies we make.
Prior to the Filmmaker 360 program, the Film Society was best known for hosting the San Francisco International Film Festival, the longest-running film festival in the country. Since, however, the Film Society has branched out, even hosting events at the famed California Academy of Sciences. Michelle Turner-Salio has directed the Filmmaker 360 program since its inception.
It's exciting for me to sort of see how these programs, both the grants and the program support that we have, like Filmhouse Residency, is actually transforming the city. The narrative filmmaking community is really burgeoning and creating exciting work. And I think that what I find most inspiring about the community here is that it's very generous in spirit, it's very creative. People welcome new filmmakers who are new to town with generosity and warmth, and so it makes it easy to support them.
The Film Society's Grants and Mentorship Program is one of the few in the country available to filmmakers.
I think it's a fantastic first step. There really aren't a lot of resources anywhere throughout the country in terms of seeding funds to get projects made, to get feature narrative projects made. You kind of have to find your own way, and the fact that there is one of the best, if not the only, grant program locally is a huge sign that things are becoming a little bit easier.
To filmmakers, San Francisco is becoming more than just a beautiful cinematic landscape, and the current community welcomes them with open arms.
The more critical mass we have of filmmakers, the more it's going to draw talent, the more it's going to draw on-camera talent, producers and money. I think the track record, the more filmmakers we have here, the better it's going to be for all of us.
The Film Society provides that crucial extra step of here's $1 million a year coming into the economy now. It's changed this place from a place where filmmakers like to visit to a place where filmmakers wanted to live and make films.
The power to change communities. That's InBox for this week. I'm Zhang Guan. Thank you for watching.
Thousands of